Hey everyone, it's triplemangothreat, and today we're talking about a $70 deck that discards lands to deal damage to our opponents. But before we get too far, if you want to rep the Mango family, the merch is a perfect way to do that. And if you want to buy these cards or the whole deck, click the links below. So our commander is Borborygmos Enraged for 4, 2 red and 2 green. It's a 7/6 legendary creature, and he's a Cyclops. He has Trample, and whenever he deals combat damage to a player, we're going to reveal the top 3 cards of our library, put all land cards into our hand, and the rest into our graveyard. Most importantly, if we discard a land card, Borborygmos Enraged deals 3 damage to target creature or player. So if we did the math, it would take 14 lands to kill one opponent. So when it comes to the mana rocks of the deck, we're going to start with Firewild Border Post, where you can pay 1 mana and return a basic land to your hand instead of paying Firewild Border Post mana cost, and it comes into play tap. You can tap it for a red or a green. Gruul Signet, where you can pay 1, tap it, you can add a red and green to your mana pool. Talisman of Impulse, you can tap it to get 1 colorless, or you can get a red and a green if you want to deal 1 damage to yourself. Last, we have Gruul Locket, where we can tap it for a red or a green, or we can pay 4 mana interchangeably red or green, tap it, sacrifice Gruul Locket, and draw 2 cards. When it comes to the ramp of the deck, we have a lot. Starting with Skyshroud Claim, you can search your library for 2 forests and put them on the battlefield, shuffle your library. Sylvan Scrying, you can search your library for a land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle your library. Peregrination is where you search your library for 2 basics, reveal them, put 1 on the battlefield tapped, and put the other in your hand, and then you get to scry 1. Nissa's Pilgrimage, you search your library for up to 2 basic forests, reveal them, put 1 onto the battlefield tapped, and the rest into your hand, shuffle your library. And if you happen to have 2 more instant or sorceries in your graveyard already, you get to look for 3 basic forests instead of 2. Explosive Vegetation, you get to search your library for 2 basic lands, put them on the battlefield tapped, and shuffle your library. Yavimaya Elder is a creature that when he dies, you get to search your library for 2 basic lands and put them into your hand, or you can pay 2, sacrifice him, and draw a card. With Farseek, you can search your library for a plains, island, swamp, or mountain, but more importantly, it will just be a mountain, and it enters the battlefield tapped. Sakura Tribe Elder is a creature. When you sacrifice him, you get a basic land on the battlefield tapped. Seek the Horizon, you can search your library for up to 3 basic lands, reveal them, put them into your hand. Ranger's Path, you search your library for 2 forest cards, put them on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. More importantly, this does not say basic forest, this is any forest card. Springbloom Druid is a creature that when he enters the battlefield, you can sacrifice a land, and if you do, you can search your library for 2 basic land cards, put them on the battlefield tapped. Journey of Discovery allows you to choose 1, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle your library, or you may play up to 2 additional lands this turn, and it has the Entwine cost for 2 and a green, where you can do both of these things. Now when it comes to removal, we have the classic Acidic Slime. It's a creature that when it enters the battlefield, you can destroy an artifact, enchantment, or land. Reclamation Sage is a creature that when it enters the battlefield, you can destroy target artifact or enchantment. Decimate, you can destroy target artifact, target creature, target enchantment, and target land. Chaos Warp, the owner of target permanent shuffles it into their library, reveals the top card of their library. If it's a permanent, they put it on the battlefield. Krosan Grip is an instant that has the ability of Split Second. As long as this spell is on the stack, players can't cast spells or activate abilities that aren't mana abilities. It allows you to destroy target artifact or enchantment. Return to Nature allows you to choose 1, destroy target artifact, destroy target enchantment, exile target card from a graveyard. When it comes to drawing cards, this deck is going to need a lot of it, so we're going to have Reforge the Soul. Each player discards his or her hand, then draws 7 cards, and we can do this for a cheaper cost of 1 and a red, if it's our miracle. Faithless Looting allows us to draw 2 cards and then discard 2 cards, and it has flashback, so we can play this from our graveyard later. Horn of Greed, whenever a player plays a land, that player draws a card. Girapur Ori, each player may play an additional land on each of his or her turns. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, if that player has no cards in hand, that player draws 3 cards. Nullspine Dragon. So when he comes into play, we can discard our hand and draw cards equal to the damage dealt to target opponent this turn. Snake Umbra is an enchantment aura. That enchanted creature gets +1/+1, and more importantly, has whenever this creature deals damage to an opponent, you may draw a card, and it has totem armor. When it comes to protection, how do we protect our commander? Well, with Swiftfoot Boots, equipped creature can have hexproof and haste, and the equip cost is only 1. Lightning Greaves is an equipment where our creature can have haste and shroud, and the equip cost is only 0. When we don't have our commander out, we're going to need some more options to discard our lands. So with Seismic Assault, it's an enchantment that allows us to discard lands and deal 2 damage to any target. Living Twister is a creature that allows us to pay 1 in a red to discard a land, and Living Twister deals 2 damage to any target. Or we can pay 1 green to return a tapped land we control to its owner's hand. So how do we get more lands to our hand? Well, with Turn Timber Sower, it's a creature that when 1 or more lands are put into our graveyard from anywhere, we make a 0/1 plant creature token. We can pay a green, sacrifice 3 creatures, and return target land from our graveyard to our hand. Creeping Renaissance is a sorcery that we can choose a permanent type, return all cards of that chosen type from your graveyard to your hand, and it has flashback. With this, we are most likely going to choose lands. Praetor's Council is a sorcery. We return all cards from our graveyard to our hand. We're going to exile Praetor's Council. We have no max hand size for the rest of the game. Ramunap Excavator is a creature that allows you to play lands from your graveyard. Mina and Den Wildborn is a creature that can allow you to play 1 additional land on each of your turns. Or we can pay red and a green to return a land we control to its owner's hand. Target creature gains trample until end of turn. Barrel Down Sokenzan is an instant that we can return any number of mountains we control to their owner's hands. Barrel Down Sokenzan deals damage to target creature equal to twice the number of mountains returned this way. Groundskeeper is a creature that we can pay 1 and a green to return target basic land card from our graveyard to our hand. Life from the Loam, we can return 3 target land cards from our graveyard to our hand, and it has Dredge 3. So how can we overwhelm our opponents? Well, with Avenger of Zendikar, it's a creature that when he enters the battlefield, create 0/1 green plant creature tokens for each land you control. He also has Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a 1/1 counter on each plant creature you control. Rebel Hulk is a creature that has power and toughness equal to the number of lands we control. Or he has Blood Rush, where we can pay a 1, a red, and a green to discard Rebel Hulk. Target attacking creature gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of lands you control. Multani, Yavimaya's avatar, is a creature that has Reach and Trample. He gets +1/+1 for each land you control and each land card in your graveyard. We can also pay 1 and a green to return 2 lands you control to their owner's hands. Return Multani from your graveyard to your hand. When it comes to dealing extra damage, Torbran, Thane of Redfell is the way to go. If a red source you control would deal damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, it deals that much damage +2 instead. Dictate of the Twin Gods is an enchantment that has flash, and if a source would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to that permanent or player instead. Glinthorn Buccaneer is a creature that has haste, but more importantly, whenever you discard a card, Glinthorn Buccaneer deals 1 damage to each opponent. We can pay a 1 and a red to discard a card, draw a card, activate this ability only if Glinthorn Buccaneer is attacking. Lastly, let's talk about the best combo or the best scenario that's going to happen in this deck. It's going to have 4 cards starting with Illusionist Bracers. Whenever an ability of equipped creature is activated, if it isn't a mana ability, copy that ability. You may choose new targets for the copy. Grafted Exoskeleton is an equipment that where equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has Infect. Keen Sense is an enchantment aura. Whenever enchanted creature deals damage to an opponent, you may draw a card. And lastly, Abundance. If you would draw a card, you may instead choose land or non-land. Reveal those cards from the top of your library until you reveal the card of the chosen kind. Put that card into your hand, put all the other cards revealed at the bottom of your library in any order. With Illusionist Bracers, we're able to deal 6 damage instead of 3 with our lands. And when we have Grafted Exoskeleton, it will only take 2 lands to kill 1 opponent. With Keen Sense, we're drawing a card every time our commander deals damage, which is by discarding a land and hitting an opponent. And Abundance allows us, whenever we are supposed to draw a card, we can choose land and we'll just be able to get a land every time and kill each of our opponents. Thank you all so much for watching. We're currently at 130 subscribers, and none of this could be done without you guys, so I thank you, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.